We are going tech heavy for this week's GC unboxing. Si very recently had a first ride with this, the brand new SIGMA Rox 12.0 GPS unit. And now you have a chance to get your hands on one. In fact, two of you do, because we've got two of these bad boys to give away. As ever, I'll be giving you details on how to enter at the end of this video. Firstly though, I want to go through all the details of this new unit, and I'll have to do so at warp speed, because there are a lot of features, particularly when it comes to the mapping and navigational side of things. Off the shelf, you have two options if you're going to purchase one of these. There is the basic set, that includes of course the head unit, but also a mount up front and a GoPro adapter too. And then there is a sports set, which is what we've got to give away on this unboxing. That includes what we've already mentioned, but on top of that, a heart rate strap and a cadence and speed sensor. So without further ado, let's take this thing out of its box. Inside the box, we have the aforementioned out front mount and the aforementioned GoPro adapter. We have all the charging and connecting cables, plus a couple of handlebar mounts there too. There is the cadence and speed sensor to fit onto your rear chainstays, along with the spoke magnet and all the fixing points. And finally, we have the Bluetooth and Amp Plus heart rate monitor strap. But shall we get onto the main event? It's the head unit itself. In terms of size, this is at the higher end of the on-bike GPS unit spectrum, but that's to make way for this large 3-inch colour screen. Also, there's a large internal battery which will power this thing for a full 16 hours, 40 hours in fact if you go for the low power mode option. And there's also a pretty punchy 8 GB of internal memory, which can be expanded by a further 128 GB if you use a micro SD card. All the memory you need then to download all the maps that you could possibly want for free. That's right, for free, and legally too. More on that in just a few seconds. First though, I think we should see this colour screen by turning it on. In use, this feels very much like using a smartphone. There's a couple of good reasons for that. Firstly, as you can see, it's a touchscreen, but secondly, it's based on an Android operating system. As such, there are an array of different icons, and to navigate through them, all you do is swipe left or right, or up or down. Swipe up for a navigational menu, swipe down for a whole array of different setup options. Along though with the touchscreen, there are also a number of different buttons, 6 to be exact if you include the on-off button here at the top. There are buttons on the side here, so that you can swipe through the different pages if you don't want to use the touchscreen. There's a start button here, a stop button here, and the all-important home button to get you back to the start. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves though, one of the first things you want to do after you've turned this head unit on is connect it to your Wi-Fi. That way you'll be able to choose to auto-upload your riding to various apps such as Commute and Strava, etc. It will then automatically sync your riding to the SIGMA Cloud and Data Center, where you can do some in-depth analysis if you so choose to. And if for whatever reason you decide that you need to connect to Wi-Fi whilst you're out on your bike, all you need to really do is set up your smartphone as a personal hotspot. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the big thing with this device is its navigational properties. And as I also said, it uses free maps, open source street maps to be precise, which are incredibly detailed, not just with roads in fact, but also with trails too. Perfect for if you're looking to go off-road occasionally. Now, the other important thing is that open source street maps also include addresses and points of interest. Bike shops? Yes. Cafes? Yes. Pubs? Yes. In total, there are 8 different ways to navigate using this device, including the ones we've just mentioned. So those traditional ones such as coordinates or specific address or the points of interest that we've already looked at. On top of that, you could just look at a previous ride that you've done that will be stored here in the archive, or you could draw a route online using Commute or Strava and just send it over. Or finally, you could use a magic trick. Just draw one. That's right, you can draw the route of your choice just on the screen here, and it'll then choose the closest roads to what you've drawn, press start, and away you go. You can also adjust the type of route that this device plans for you by using one of the sport profiles. Inside it, there are 4 preset profiles, so road, mountain bike, cycling, which is more your recreational side of things, and indoor cycling. But if none of those suit you in particular, you can create as many custom profiles as you wish. And on top of that, if you have a change of heart in the middle of your ride and you decide you want a change of scene, you can simply stop, select one of the other profiles, and it will adjust the route for you. So decide you want to go off-road, simply select mountain bike or one of your custom profiles, and it will take you off-road for the rest of your ride. And then on top of the profiles, there are also 3 further options when it comes to the route. You can take the recommended route or the shortest route, which can be different as you well know, or the final option, which sounds the most enticing to me, the easiest route. When you press start, you will be given turn-by-turn navigation, and it will even zoom in to junctions when you need to change direction, even if normally you prefer to have a much larger scale on the map. Plenty of features then for the more adventurous amongst you, but I can also tell you that there are a whole host of features for data nerds, and I know that there are plenty of us out there too, including, incidentally, Tom Dumoulin of Team Sunweb, who's chosen to use this very head unit for much of 2018. So let's start with the basics when it comes to data. We've already seen the heart rate strap, very simple. I will also of course pair up to a power meter if you've got one of those, which opens up a whole load of different data fields. The very obvious ones such as power, average power, etc. And then some more in-depth ones such as TSS, intensity factor, normalized power, etc. Going even more in-depth, you've got left-right balance, pedal smoothness, and if you happen to be using a rotor twin power meter, it will show your OCA and OCP values. Plenty to be getting on with then. Also a whole host of different options when it comes to the data screens, 30 in total, and it's really easy to change all of those too. So all you've got to do is press on one of the data fields as it currently is. That will bring up a menu, at which point you'll be able to choose whatever you want to go on that part of the screen. And finally, a feature that really caught my eye is called workout mode. Something I really wish I'd had available to me when I was a full-time cyclist. What it does is it means that you can input your workout into this device, and it will then tell you how hard you need to go, for how long, at what point in your ride. So no longer the need to write down your interval session on a piece of paper and tape it to your stem, or even try to memorize all the intervals that you need to do, because this thing will alert you at every possible moment. Unfortunately, this does mean that you can no longer accidentally forget to do that last really hard interval on the way home. A great feature nonetheless. And I think you'll agree, this thing has all of the features you could possibly need as any type of cyclist. So I'm sure you'd like to get your hands on this thing. In order to do so, all you've got to do is find the link that's in the description just below this video. Click on that and it'll take you through to a page with all of the details that you'll need to know in order to enter and put yourself in with a chance. I wish you the very best of luck with this, because I think you'll be very pleased with this head unit if you get your hands on it. Right then, if you would like to see Si's first look at this thing, you can do so by clicking just down here.